guys, Mix here, and in today's video we are continuing our newest build with this 1980 Honda CB750C that we are hopefully going to be swapping this engine into the half-scale NASCAR. So, if you guys saw last video, the reason I said hopefully is because, well, this thing doesn't run. And in last video, you guys saw that I got it to fire a couple times, but it never really made a pure, like, vroom noise, which is a little bit nerve-wracking. So I brought it to you guys, and so many of you guys gave a lot of helpful comments, and I did go ahead and try the majority vote. Almost all of you agreed on the same exact thing, and that was to either put gas in the cylinders or use starter fluid or something like that. And I just tried that before off camera. Well, off this camera, I recorded it on my phone just in case I were to start up, but I put some gas down in the cylinders, and, well, this is what happened. So as you guys just saw from that, it was doing like the dun-dun-dun-dun, like it wants to fire up but it just can't. Now that we know that it won't run even with fuel, definitely getting into the cylinders, there's a couple options that it could be. Either weak spark or low compression. And that is why I just ran to the store and picked up a compression tester. So we're gonna test it today, and if we have good compression, then I'm gonna narrow it down to spark. But if we don't have good compression, then I'm gonna try and see if it's either valves or piston rings. If we do have low compression, then I'll probably go ahead and take off the valve covers and check out if there are any stuck open or any that are not moving at all. But if it's piston rings, then that's another story. I don't know if I should really go ahead and even bother rebuilding this. I mean, it only has 12,000 miles since 1980. I could go ahead and just look for different engines and everything, but I've been looking for a couple months and there are no cheap ones at all. I mean, this thing was free, that's why I got it. It was gonna get junked. Hoping that this engine would be able to enjoy the rest of its life on a mini cup car. I guess we'll just see what the outcome of today's video is. Hopefully it's nothing major, and this thing will be running soon. So right now, I'm gonna begin unscrewing all of the spark plugs and everything, and the optimal compression for these engines, for the CB750s, are 130 to 150 PSI. And anything really below 70 is too low. So I guess we'll just see what happens. Alright, so I guess we'll see how this works. I'm starting off on cylinder 4, so I'm gonna turn the key right now. Just gotta find a place to set this up. Alright, so key is on. Hopefully it has good compression. Alright, about 90. That's not too bad. Alright, so cylinder 1 was 90. That is definitely enough compression for it to start up at least. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest. I think the cylinder that is going to have no compression is cylinder 4. That one has always given me some issues for some reason. It always has made weird sounds and stuff. But I just have a feeling it's going to be that one, or cylinder 3, just one of those two. On that side, I feel like it's going to give us an issue. Alright, so cylinder 2 is all plugged in. And now we'll test this one. Oh yeah, plenty of enough. That thing probably would have went to 120 if I kept cranking it. Here comes cylinder 3. Oh boy, it doesn't look good at all. About 30 on that one. I'm gonna double check and make sure that it's all screwed in tight enough, because that is really, really low. Alright, I got the screw in just a little bit more. Let's see if it makes any difference. Dang. Alright, so just as I predicted, one of those cylinders so far has been one of the culprits. 30 pounds is definitely not enough for it to fire up. I guess we'll just see how cylinder 4 is. Hopefully it's just cylinder 3, and if it's just a valve, I'm honestly going to be pretty pumped. But 30 pounds is pretty low. I have a feeling it's definitely the piston rings, but I'm just trying to think optimistically. And here's the final cylinder, cylinder 4. Too bad. It's a little bit over 90, pretty much the same exact as the first cylinder. So cylinder 3 is definitely 100% the issue. So right now I want to go ahead and take off all of the little bolts that are holding on this little valve cover and see what we got going on under there. If it's filled with sand, like how everything with the rest of the engine was. If when I crank it over, none of the valves are moving, that is a high chance because this thing has been sitting for almost 20 years. So definitely it can get stuck. Or if some valve clearances are completely out of whack, or if just simply piston rings are shot or the valves are shot. Jeez. Oh, these things probably haven't been taken off since this thing was made.
Oh my god.
These are not coming off. You're not really supposed to do this, but I literally cannot get this thing out. Okay, I think the seal's broken. Or not. There we go. Alright, so it wasn't coming out. I just forgot to disconnect like the sensor or something over here. But now, should be able to slide this right out. Oh, God. That was harder than it should have been. And I accidentally wedged off the carburetors in the process. So I'm actually really surprised. Everything up here looks really good. There's not one speck of surface rust or anything. There's definitely a lot of oil up here, which I'm sure is fine, lubricating everything up. We got that dual overhead cam action, and right over here is where our cylinder 3 valves are, and there. I'm gonna go ahead and crank the engine over. I'm sure it's gonna spin because everything looks really good, but I'm gonna keep my eye on the top of the valves right below the lobes and make sure that they are moving as well. All right, so I don't know if this is gonna like fling oil everywhere, so I'm just gonna hit it once. Those are moving and those are moving, so valves are in fact moving, nothing stuck open. So guys, it looks like that this is most likely the piston rings, which sucks. I'm kind of torn on what between I should do, if I should rebuild that cylinder or just look for a new engine. I might as well just look for a new engine while I'm at it, because can't hurt doing that. But I still don't really want to give up on this engine yet, because it's just that cylinder screwing us over, you know? All the other ones are fine, you know, good enough for it to run. You could probably put like some oil in that cylinder and it might help start up because it might be able to create a little bit of a seal and build up some compression in that cylinder, but it's not a good long-term thing, obviously. It's just one time, see if it'll start. So what I think I'm gonna do is just plop on the valve cover real quick. I don't really need to screw down. Obviously this thing isn't gonna run, but I just want to see if I spray in some starter fluid and put some gas into the cylinders, but put oil only in cylinder 3, if it'll make any difference by maybe building up some compression there and helping out the rest of the cylinders start up. So I'm just going to give it a shot. I don't really need to put on the carburetors because there's going to be gasoline in the cylinders already, but I might just slide them on to act as a choke or something like that. Alright guys, so everything is back on. I just went ahead and put the 4 bolts on each end of the valve cover just to seal it up a little bit. I didn't bother putting on the middle ones just because, you know, it's probably not going to be running for long even if it does run. But I got the fuel in the cylinders and the oil in cylinder 3, so let's just see what happens. I'm hoping that I didn't put too much oil in cylinder 3 that will hydrolock, but I think I put in a good enough amount. God, it keeps making an awful noise. I don't know if it's because it's about to fire up or I'm bending a rod, but I'm just gonna send it and keep trying. Oh, it's broken. A lot. Oh, come on! Oh my God, it just ran. I'm telling you guys, it just ran. Woo! I gotta open the doors. Guys, it just fired. Ooh, the exhaust is hot. I think it's gonna happen. The exhaust is smoking, this thing's starting to get some heat in it. If I could get the fire up, cause that oil in cylinder 3, building the compression, then it's narrowed down, it's the piston rings, 100%. But that's the most life I've ever gotten from it, and I am stoked. Oh. I just realized something. I am so dumb. So I'm wondering why it's not running. Because it's so close to firing up. I don't know if you guys can notice something's missing. I just realized the gas tank isn't putting on. The carbs are probably empty. It's just running on the starter fluid I'm putting on it. I'm gonna plop that on real quick, hook up the fuel line, turn on the fuel, and then we will try again. Alright, so the gas tank is on, fuel is flowing. I just charged up the battery a tad bit more. So now I'm gonna give it another shot of starter fluid, and here we go. Dang it, this dang battery. So the battery does not have enough juice to crank it over, so I'm gonna let it charge and actually charge for a little bit longer. But then I might have to put some more oil into that cylinder because it's probably all out. But once the battery's fully charged and the gas tank is on and we got oil in the cylinder and some gas in the other cylinders besides 3, then, quote me when I say this, it's gonna run. Alrighty guys, so it's like 2 or so hours later from the last clip, and I charged up the battery a little bit more, and I also put some more oil in cylinder 3, put some more gas down the rest of the cylinders, and everything is all buttoned up again, so I'm gonna try. And as I said before, I think it's gonna run. No, I put too much oil in it, dang it. Alright, so it's hydro-locked, so I gotta take some oil out. And I put less than last time, which is a little weird, but so I gotta take off the gas tank once again and just take some out, and then it should turn over freely then. So I just took out the spark plug, and I just tapped the start button really quick, and it shot everywhere. I gotta clean this all up real quick because I do not want to stain any of this. I cannot believe the pressure that was behind that. Alright, so now that we got that somewhat cleaned up, let's try again. I think it's out of oil again. In the cylinder, that is. So guys, it's not running, but it's definitely way closer than how it was running last time. I mean, I actually heard this thing somewhat make a vroom noise. Like, it fired and it ran for like literally half a second. But that is improvement, definitely from last video, because all I could get it to do was basically turn over and make a couple thumping noises. And now I'm super happy that we narrowed down the issue to it being cylinder 3. Definitely the piston rings, because when you put oil in there, it seals it a little bit, and when there was oil in there, it wanted to fire up. So although I was really hopeful on it, you know, I was really confident that it was going to start and everything before, I'm pretty happy on how we were able to end off this video by narrowing down the issue and figuring out what's causing all of these issues. So once again, I'm going to bring a decision to you guys, because you guys are just as invested into these builds as I am. What should I do with this engine? Should I check and see how much a cylinder, like how much it would cost to rebuild it? I'm definitely going to look for more engines. I would really like to use this engine, but rebuilding it is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge because it's nothing I've ever really worked with, dual overhead cam engines. So once again, comment your thoughts below and I will read them all. But anyway guys, I'm going to be ending the video here. I was really hoping that we were going to be able to have it running, but as I said, I'm happy on how it ended. And instead of me just doing pointless stuff to this, like I almost bought a whole $200 set of new carburetors, we were able to narrow down the issue to the cylinder. And these carburetors could be malfunctioning, but if it didn't start with the gasoline in the cylinders, then it's not going to start with perfectly good carburetors. But follow my social medias, they will be on the outro of this video. Instagram and Snapchat I use the most. We are so close to 70,000. I might actually hit it when this video is posted, so that is insane. 100K is so close. I'm pretty sure my end of the year goal for this year was 125,000. I think we're going to be able to hit it. That blows my mind. So thank you guys once again for all the support you guys give me. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and tell your friends about the channel.